Matt Blatt talking. This is Matt Blatt talking. I'd like to welcome call this meeting of the special commissioners on state institutions to order. As I just said, my name is Matt Blatt and Evelyn Mateo is my co-chair. The co-chair. As usual, we'd like to let everyone know the commission meeting must follow open meeting law. Any votes taken today will be via roll call. We ask the commission members please mute themselves when they are not speaking. Use the raise hand feature if they like to speak. Before speaking, please say your name. That way, everyone knows who's talking. We hope everyone had taken a moment to view the agenda that was set out beforehand. Thank you. Evelyn, you're up.
Okay, now. My name's Evelyn, and I'm one of the co-chairs. To make sure everyone can participate, we ask the following. We have cart service support our meeting today. There are captures that help people follow the discussion. If you need help turning on these captures, please let us know. We ask that people speak at a non-rush pace and provide yourself brief pause for the cart transcript to write what you have said. We ask you speak with a few acronyms as possible. Doing so will help all participants to understand important information that is shared here. I will try to remind folks of these terms I just mentioned, if needed during this meeting, to keep us on track. When we end this meeting, we will have notes made available based on what we talked about today. This meeting is also being recorded and the videos are available on the Commissioner's mass.gov page and on YouTube. We would now like to invite Emily from CDDER to provide a high-level recapture of our last meeting before we vote to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Evelyn. So the commission met in March. During that meeting, they introduced new commission member Sister Linda Bessem, who's a family member and guardian of a current resident at Hogan. We had also introduced Julia O'Leary from the Mass Office on Disability. The commissioners viewed many different PowerPoint examples for their commission, and they chose one, which is what we're seeing in today's presentation. We discussed that CEDAR created a YouTube channel for the commission and moved the prior meetings' contents there. Commissioners discussed recent news articles from the Boston Globe about developments at Bridgewater State Hospital, Tewksbury State Hospital, and Fernald State School. They talked about what types of institutions would be included in what the commission reviews. And the discussion at Fernald included things like the records that were left there, a privacy breach notice issued by DDS, the Department of Developmental Services, the condition of the buildings at Fernald continuing to get worse, and commissioners expressed wanting people who lived at the former state schools and their family members to decide what happens to the grounds. A letter of inquiry was discussed by the commission and approved. It asked the governor, Governor Healy, and the Secretary of Health about finding records that may still be located at closed institutions, to resolve security issues at these locations, and to make the process to request records easier for former patients and family members. We then heard updates from the different working groups, from the Records and Record Access Working Group. They discussed learning about state record retention guidelines, which is how long they need to keep records. They discussed what was learned about record access from various groups and next steps. The Burial and Burial Locations Working Group discussed learning the status of cemeteries and burial locations and whether they're taken care of or not. And they discussed creating a gap analysis of existing cemeteries. The Framework for Public Recognition Working Group talked about the vision and mission and goal of the remembrance. And they talked about learning from other states who have remembered people who lived in these types of institutions. That's my summary of the March meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna do the voting. I'm gonna say the names. Allison. Lisa, maybe? Sorry.
Evelyn, sorry, I just need to say something first before we do
Mhm.
that. Sorry about that. I was on mute talking to myself. This is
Oh.
Matt. This is Matt. Before we dive into after these discussions, we had to vote for the commission's last meeting back in March. Draft copies on meeting was set last week. Hopefully everyone got the chance to read it. Did anyone have any suggestions for the meetings or any changes to meetings that they saw?
No.
If not, we can proceed with the vote. As always, when we conduct a vote or roll call, so if everyone can unmute themselves. Everyone will call your names. First though, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
This is Andrew Leverald. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the March 21st, 2024 meeting.
Thank you, Andrew. Do I have a second?
This is Anne Fract. I second it.
Thank you, Ann. And now everyone will read out the names.
Elise. Elise.
Elise is unable to make it today. Sorry.
No, we do that. Thank you. So,
Thank you.
Kate,
Yes.
Hi, Kate.
Sister Linda,
Hi, Reggie.
Hi, I'm here. Trying not to cough.
do you approve?
Oh, yes, I do. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Reggie,
Yes, I do.
Ann,
Seconded, I approve, yes.
Rand, Rand Kelly,
Hi, sorry, I didn't recognize it. Yes, I approve, Anya Kelly.
Andrew,
Yes.
Mary,
I abstain. I was not here for the March meeting. Thank you.
Vesper,
Yes.
Brenda,
Do you approve the meeting minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Connor,
Yes.
Matt,
Yeah. Yes.
Myself, yes.
Thanks,
Did I
everyone.
miss anyone?
Thank you, Emily. Thanks, everyone. The minutes are approved. As a reminder, the approved minutes and all the materials from our meetings are on the commission's webpage.
Next item on the agenda is the commonly used terms and acronyms. Documents that was sent to all commission members in April. It is a referee tool to help clearly communicate complex information. The document will be updated as needed and is available for anyone who would like to use it. We want to share the documents again with the commission and see what people thought. Are there any things that commissioners want to discuss about the documents?
Let's see.
Thank you, Emily. CETA will be writing the first draft of a report over the summer that will be given to the special commission. This is Matt, by the way, sorry, to review and ask questions about. The draft report is due from CETA by September 30th, 2024. We'd like to ask CETA to give an overview of their plans for the first draft of the report. Emily?
Thank you. Could we go back 2 slides, please? Sister Linda, I see you have your hand raised.
Yes, sorry, I didn't refer to this earlier. Thank you. I have a question. Did the governor ever respond to the letter of finding records, et cetera, in that letter that was sent to her? Was that ever responded to by the governor?
That's a great question, Sister Linda.
And if so, what was the response? I'm curious, really.
Hi, Sister Linda, this is Matt Blatt, one of the co-chairs. She had till July 25th to respond. And she had responded. Actually, Reggie will do a quick update about it in the next couple minutes. So,
Okay.
Does that answer your question for now?
Yeah. No, I was just curious as to what a response. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, this is Matt. I think we all were interested in her response, but she has a little more time to respond. So
good. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. This is Emily from CEDAR. We wanted to revisit our timeline to keep us all on track, and we also have some new members, so we wanted to check in. We're currently conducting research and gathering information on behalf of the commission, and we will talk about what we've learned in the working group updates later in this meeting and where we are headed next. We are due to write a draft of a report on what we've learned to send to you. The first draft is due September 30th of 2024. So over the summer, we're going to be working on writing up all of the information that we've gathered so you can all review it. This report will need to be reviewed by commission members so that you can ask questions to us and ask us to follow up on things or learn more about certain things that you will need to do your work as commissioners. We have a final version, we at CEDAR, of this report due January 15th of 2025. So this fall, in October, November, and December. It's going to be an important time for you as commission members to be able to look at our first draft report and to ask your questions and ask us to do other things in what you need. So this report will be part of what you use to decide on the framework for special recognition, and also about recommendations you might make to the legislature about next steps in your area of focus after the time period of this current version of the commission. Next slide, please. We have scheduled meetings coming up every 2 months. The next ones are in July, September, and then November. Commissioners will get CEDAR's draft report after the September meeting. And there is then one meeting planned between you receiving the draft report and the final report. So we have some questions for you to make sure that you have enough time to talk together as commissioners. Because remember, we have open meeting laws where the commission's discussions about what we've gathered and what you want to do next need to occur in these open meetings. So we have 2 questions for your discussion today. One is whether you would like to add any open meetings in October or early December in this period between the draft report and the final report from us at CEDAR. And the second is whether some of the meetings, which are currently an hour and a half, should be a bit longer, perhaps going to 5 p.m. So I'm going to turn it over to Matt to facilitate this discussion among commissioners. Thank you.
Okay, this is Matt. Thank you, Emily. So the 2 questions, probably tackle, ask the first question first. That probably didn't make sense. I'm sorry. Should the commission, should we add any open meetings in October or early December? Does anyone have any thoughts on that?
Let's see. Yep.
Not to
Um,
Kate, not to pick on you, but you're the top of the list. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Hi, this is Kate Benson. I think it's going to depend on,
Mm.
I'm going to lean towards we're probably going to need one in early December. And if we add one in early December, making that the longer meeting so that we have more time to discuss everything and ask questions,
Right.
that feels like it would make sense to me, but I'd like to lean on others for input.
Yeah, no, I agree. And this is Sister Linda. And it all depends on, like, how long is the report expected to be? Like, how many pages? I mean, if it's, that would be a question, like, depending on the length, you know, will we need like more time to discuss what we see in the report and talk about it together? So I agree. I think we are going to need probably a meeting in October, but definitely in December, in order for us to meet the required deadline.
Thank you, sister. This is Matt talking. The reason why we asked it early, because we like to plan ahead. That way everyone knows the meetings. That way, obviously today we have 50 as not 50. We only missed 2 people, so we like to keep that going. So that's why we're asking these questions early. Reggie, do you have any thoughts on these questions?
Well, I would agree what Kate said and what Linda said. I would hope it's early December, so we have more time to review and stuff, so Jan can help me or call me and let me know, that would be good, I think that the more we know what's going on, the more we can work together.
Yes.
Thank you, Reggie. Anyone else have any questions or not questions, comments about?
Yes, Matt, this is, I have my hand up. This
Oh,
is
sorry,
Mary
my
Mahon
bad.
McCauley.
Yep,
Hi.
sorry, Mary.
Oh, that's okay. You're doing a few things at once, so no problem. I just wanted to say that, that, remind me again, the draft comes out was that September or October?
That will come out by the end of September.
At the end of
Yeah.
September, okay. So, and then the next meeting after that is when?
In November, probably mid-November before Thanksgiving.
Right, and then we'd have another meeting after that. And
What's
then,
being proposed is either having it in early December, one in early December, or we could consider one towards the end of October, if you giving
Yeah.
people a chance to
Right.
review the report.
Mm.
I will just add to Sister Linda's kind of question about length. We'll make it as simple as and brief as possible, but there's a lot we're learning, and we've got 3 different topics
right,
to discuss. And so the reason we're posing the question is we think that 90 minutes may not be enough for the
Right.
commission to discuss everything.
I would agree that another meeting should be in the middle there.
Yeah.
Only, due to the fact that the open meeting law is very clear that we can't have little groups of people discussing opinions and suggestions, ideas outside of this
Outside the meeting.
larger group.
Right.
So
right.
in order to do that and to be free to, follow the open meeting law, we need another meeting, I think, to discuss the draft prior to its final
Yes.
implementation of being a finalized document.
Right.
I would agree. I agree with you, Mary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Andrew or Joe or Connor, do you have any thoughts on this? I know you're at work right now, I believe, so were you open to 5 o'clock meetings?
Oh, that was the other thing.
This is Andrew Leverall. Yeah, I mean, a 5 o'clock meeting's fine with me, and I agree. Worst case scenario, we add another meeting, we realize that, we don't need the additional time, we can simply get rid of it, but it's easier to remove a meeting than it is to try to add one late in the game, so might as well get it scheduled.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is Connor. I think also, yeah, it'd be helpful to have another meeting in the meantime. Our office closes at 4:30, so it might be more difficult for me to extend to end time, but I could always, if I need to jump off earlier or the meeting started earlier, that wouldn't be a problem.
Thank you.
And this is Ann.
Hi,
I
yes.
think I'd rather see a longer meeting in October than December, due to both
Yeah.
like weather related issues and also it's just seems easier to do it in October than December.
Thank you, Ed. So,
Mm.
Vesper or Miss Kelly, do you have any thoughts on this? I believe it.
I think I liked the idea of early December, but I am also flexible for October. I agree on additional meetings.
Yeah.
I'm flexible in terms of length of time and going a little bit further out, as long as I know in advance. So, yeah.
Thank you.
I also have a related question. This is Sister Linda. Since we've already had publicity in a sense in the media, is this something that the media will continue to cover? And do they expect to be informed also of these open meetings? Just, I don't know.
Just a point of clarification on the notification of open meetings, then the date of the meeting is always posted publicly, as well as the agenda at least 48 hours ahead of the meeting.
Okay, so where would because it is an open meeting, what if like someone from the media comes? You know, like how would they be treated? That kind of thing, since we've already used some of their articles and information already.
So members of the media are welcome to attend just like members of
Okay.
the public, and they can attend as what we call an attendee. So they're
Okay.
not allowed to speak during the meeting, but they can observe.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
There are certain, this is Reggie, there are certain things that we do have to be careful about what we say and do, because
Right.
some people will break it wide open, which me and Mary talked about, you know. So we have to be careful, you know.
Mhm.
Well,
Right.
This is Matt here. So thank you for everyone for the discussion. The support will email you guys for, well, not everyone, for more meetings times and dates in the future. As you see, like we want a couple more meetings as well, and maybe a lot of meetings to 5 o'clock. So thank you everyone for that discussion.
Mhm.
I'm talking to myself again. I'm sorry, this is Matt again. Stop talking to myself and put myself on mute. Since the last meeting, Commission, some of the news articles have been published that we want everyone to know about. The first article, but WGBH, which reported concerns for the community members regarding a lack of input for the community and former residents of City of Waltham about the plans for the development of further routes. We want to share the article with the commission and see what people thought. If you're not speaking, can everyone mute themselves? Because I hear stuff in the background when I talk, please. Commission member, we want to share the article. Commission member Reggie Smith was quoted the article. Reggie, anything like to share about the article?
Well, when I was interviewed with the Boston Globe, I just told them what I thought. That that one of the things that the mayor of Waltham wanted to do is she was thinking about putting a amusement park there, and they asked us questions about that, and I said no, because she's never talking to us, she's never asked us questions, and she's assumed that everybody sort of knows about it and stuff, and I don't think it's true, because I think that the main thing is we got to let people who do have disability and do have affected by it, let them know what's going on. And she needs to ask questions before they do anything, and let us know what's going on, because it's not fair just go above and do it and don't care about other people. I think it's a disrespectful, but you know, we have to work extra hard to get that through, and maybe somebody in the legislature somebody outside can investigate and make sure that things don't happen like that until we have a say what goes on, what we want, because we're the ones that been there. We're the ones should be drafting our own, really.
Thank you, Reggie. This is Matt. Any other commissioners like to discuss the article? Briefly. The second article for the Boston Globe, which reported that the Mass State Police used some of the buildings at that school to record, to score records, for criminal investigations. We want to share the article with the commission and see what people thought. Any things the commissioners like to discuss about the state police article? The Mass State Police article. The third article was a follow-up regarding the man's law, a man's law efforts to get a copy of his brother's records for the school. He asked Governor Haley for help to get the records. But yeah, we'd like to want to share that article with the commission and make sure everyone knew about it and what people thought. Any, any commission members have any thoughts on that article about the brother and the man?
This is Reggie. I think it's good that the person get a copy of the records. That's what I've been pushing for. Because I think it's only right for people to have it. I don't know how other people feel, but I feel very strongly that whatever belongs to you should go back to you.
I agree.
Thank you, Reggie. Any other commission members have thoughts about that article?
Yeah, Matt, if this is Mary.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
keep not seeing your hand. I'm sorry.
That's fine. You know, I wanted to just go back to the one about the state police. I think that any responsible police officer, criminal investigator, defense attorney or prosecuting attorney, you know, anyone that's a responsible person within the whole legal system was very surprised and really saddened by knowing that there was evidence found in Waltham. And that, you know, I think it's good that it was disclosed. It's very embarrassing for whoever left it there. And I hope that's taken care of. It's not, you know, that's not under my agency. But, you know, I think that most people in those jobs, you know, get pretty angered by the fact that there's some individuals that don't treat private, personal evidence material for a case in a very special way as it should be. So, although, you know, it was really disturbing, and I'm not sure what actions have been taken, but hopefully the police and the, you know, it was some different municipalities, different cities and towns, and there was some state police as well. So I don't know how that evidence got there, but hopefully they have all internally taken care of those problems. And that's something that would never, ever happen again. So that's all I wanted to say. But, you know, I think the people that work that do a good job in those fields, which is a lot of them, were as outraged as everyone else that they found private evidence in Waltham from cases, criminal cases.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah.
The fourth article regarding citizens work to try to find unmarked graves on the grounds of the former Westboro State Hospital and the Lyman School for Boys, also on the same land that the state hospital was built on. The article included a quote from the commission about the need to follow all state laws and local bylaws. We're searching for the type of sorry, I can't talk. We're searching for these types of sites. Anything the commission would like to discuss about the article. Before we discuss the article, I'd like to say Sia got contacted by the reporter, and they reached out to me and Evelyn about a quote. Sia put the boilerplate quote on, and me and Evelyn approved it for Sia to forward it to the reporter. I hope that makes sense, what I just said. So that how the quote from the commission was in the article that me and Emily approved it as the co-chairs.
Yeah.
So did they have any discussions about that with the Telegram article? Mary, here's the race for this one, or was it race before? No question or comment, so we'll move on. Thank you.
Evelyn, co-chair. The next item on the agenda is a report from the workshops. We have 4 workshops. One for the letter of inquiry, one on records and records request process, one on burials and burials location, and one focus on a framework for remembrance. The work groups need additional members. Please consider joining a work group. If you would like to participate in any of the work groups, please email the CSI support email address, and the Cedar team will share the dates of the next scheduled group meetings. Matt, your turn.
Yep, thank you. I gotta make sure I mute myself. This is Matt. We like now to invite each work group to share the reports of the work they have done so far. Reggie, can you give an update on the letter of inquiry, please?
Well, me and Jan talked about the letter that we sent to the governor. A few of us talked about it, and we told him what we basically felt, that she should look at it, and she should make a decision what should happen and stuff. You know, I didn't see the letter, but I know that Jan told me about the letter, what it was all about, and she read it to me and everything, so I approve that the letter be sent to the governor.
Thank you, Reggie. Yeah, so the governor has till June 25th to respond. Once they respond, the commission will get to see the response. I'd like to step back for a second, or take a step back for a second. There's a question that maybe Jay or Gabe or Richard can answer for us. Will the records left by the police actually be moved out of the furnace that have been sitting there for decades? Does anyone know that answer? I don't know that answer. So I don't know if anyone for UH or Richard knows it. So
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, the state police went in and took them. I can't speak for them, but I think it was referenced in the article. And this took place, I believe, a few years ago when it was found. But I think the state police had been through there. But I would reference the article though, because I believe it's reviewed in the article.
thank you, Richard. Mary, we'd like to get an update on the records and request of the work group.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you, Mary.
Okay, great. But for some reason, with the speech output, it's Alt A for mute and unmute, but it's not telling me, so I'm losing track of which one I'm on. Anyway, again, this is Mary, and just to report on some of the work and the overall work that we've discussed and continuing to discuss and work on within the records and record assessment or record access subcommittee. One thing that's pretty important to let everyone know is that there was a bill in the legislature, and that's within the Commonwealth and within the state of Massachusetts, not federal, within the state legislation. There was a bill that was proposed to open access and give people access to public records, which would be all of the records that we're talking about from institutions, open them up to people after 75 years have gone by. So that was one of the bills. And, you know, as people realize, I think that, you know, the bill has to go through different committees and it takes a while before it becomes a law. That has not gone through, that will not become a law. So that bill ended up not making it through. So, you know, it looked good, you know, in 75 years, public records would open, but that did not go through. But that's the update on that. The next one that I want to talk about, and one of the other things, and then we can discuss if people have questions or comments. But the next one was that we also within the group, you know, we found out that there are, you know, it's very sad, but there are personal private records about people that were in, you know, state-run hospitals, state-run residential programs, right? And they got into hands of people that they shouldn't have been in. So people had records and they were trying to sell them on eBay or, you know, trying to get money for private records, or they would end up in the hands of different people. And as everyone saw with some of the papers, you know, thrown around in Waltham and the grounds there, you know, a lot of different people have these records in their hand, and, you know, they really shouldn't. They're not about them. They're not about their family member. It's personal information about other people that they probably, you know, shouldn't have. It's not right for them to have it. So we talked about having an amnesty program. And for anyone that's not familiar with that word, what that would mean is you would not get in trouble. So you might have records, and it really would not be a good thing that you have these private records. Maybe they were even stolen from somewhere, right? But this would give you an opportunity, if there was some program like this, an amnesty record, where you would go someplace and you'd turn them in and say, here you go, here's the records, but you wouldn't be charged with any kind of fine, or if it was something that was stolen, you wouldn't be arrested for having stolen property. You'd be able to give back the records. So we discussed that as a nice way to possibly get some records from people that are out there, that they have, that if they know there was not going to be any consequences, bad consequences, they might turn them in. So that was the second thing I wanted to talk about. And then the third was, it was mentioned earlier, during one of there's a radio show on WGBH pretty regularly, and they record it on Boylston Street right next to the Boston Public Library. And it's really, you know, interesting to go to. The governor was a speaker. Governor Maura Healey was speaking one day. And that's where the gentleman, someone came out and asked questions about his brother's records, and he could not get access to his brother's records. So we do know that that person has been able to obtain records that were his brother's. So I think, you know, that's something that's positive, and that's really, you know, what we're looking for in the future, that individuals can get their own records, or a family member could get records. So, and then, oh, right. The last thing I'm looking over to my side because my assistants over here helped me remember my list. So in this, I think is really, really a good news. The last thing I want to share from from the records in the Record Access Subcommittee is that that there's been some investigation and research, and the CETA has been able to reach out to multiple states. All right. So altogether, there's 50 states in the country, and out of the 50 states, 36, which is a good number, have sent us information about how do you access records in your state. So we asked all of the states, you know, what's your process, like in the archives department, or the, you know, people that hold records, what's your process in your state to get records? And out of the 50, we have responses from 36. So we're still waiting to get more responses, but it's a lot. And with that information, there'll be a little deeper dive to look at some of the states of, you know, where it might be kind of a simpler process, where it's more difficult, maybe look at in the future how we would want to fit into that, the way that Massachusetts might want to do it, and there'll be more discussion, I'm sure, about that. But, you know, I think kudos to CETA. I think
That's great.
we got some great allies to work with us on all this. So
Mm.
that's it for me. But if I could answer questions or comments, I guess that would be fine if I could.
Let's see.
Mary, Andrew Leverell with the Disabled Persons Protection Commission. I just had a
Yes.
quick question on the legislation.
Sure.
Yep. So is my understanding is that the legislation was amending the public records law so that the public generally could have access to the records after 75 years, correct?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
I believe,
All right.
yeah, because it's well, it's the public records and the public would have access up to 75 years.
So is the commission at all concerned about our access to the records? Are we entitled to the material?
You know, I wouldn't want to speak for the whole commission, but my thought is that, I mean, there's different ways of like who would have access and how do you get access?
No,
So-
I guess so. Just the history, or from my understanding, is that
Okay.
the bill was redrafted to say essentially that the Special Commission on State Institutions could access these records, and Secretary Galvin's office pushed back and said, "Well, that commission can already access records in the possession of the Commonwealth." So, are we?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
I actually can't comment on that. I'm not.
Okay, I just didn't know whether whether the subcommittee is looking for the commission to get the records or whether to make them more broadly accessible to the public as a whole.
Hi, Julie, Mayor, Matt. I think Emily might be able to help us with that question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for raising that, Andrew. The most recent amendment was not specific to the special commission. You are correct that before this most recent amendment, there was an amended version of an amendment, essentially, that limited it to special commission access. That has, I believe, since been rescinded. So the one that didn't pass most recently was about public access.
Okay.
And I believe that the special commission's authority to request records has unchanged.
Right.
And so far with any group we've interfaced with, we have not yet received any resistance,
Okay.
any requests for records. And we would bring that to you all if we did.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you,
All right,
Mary.
that was all I had. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julie. Anyone else have any questions for Mary or the records?
That I could pass over to Emily? No. That I might know, or I could ask for some assistance.
There's a great assist, Mary. I like it. Emily, you see that question in the chat? I'm not sure if you answer that for us.
I do see the question in the chat, and if I may, the answer would vary depending on what type of record it is, where it's held, the age of the record. And if relatives would like access, they have to follow the requirements of the holding entity. So that might mean they need to be named as the executor on an estate or some other legal process. But there is variability in how records can be accessed and by whom they can be accessed. The answer to that question is not a simple sentence. And that is part of the research we're doing at CEDAR here for the records work group, is looking at how different groups have created those rules and what those rules include.
And actually, if you could please just read the question, because I
Yeah.
have a hard time reading. the
Hi,
chat.
Matt. Yeah, that's Matt. Sorry, Mary.
Thanks. That's okay. I could
read
read it, but then I can't hear what someone's saying, so that's always been a problem.
So
Okay.
the question was, can members of the public get access to the records? Question mark. Or
Oh,
is
I
it
get it.
only these those that have relatives committed, question mark. So that was the question.
Right.
I asked Emily.
Yeah.
to answer. Sorry about
Okay.
that. should have
I
said that
understand.
first.
Yeah, and it does depend. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Matt.
So no other questions for the records. We'll move on to Kate and the burials and burial locations.
Hi, this is Kate Benson. The burials committee has completed our gap analysis tool, not the gap analysis itself, but the tool that we're going to use to evaluate institutional cemeteries across the state. We had talked about coming up with a list of best practices to guide how we would evaluate the state of institutional cemeteries, and that gap analysis tool is complete. As is the list of known burial locations. We recognize that there may be other small cemeteries that we are still looking into, but we have an exceptionally comprehensive list of all of the known institutional cemeteries in Massachusetts. We also collected current practices from Hogan and Rentham, which are two institutions that are still open and operating and maintaining the cemeteries that are on their grounds. One of the things that we have learned as we were collecting this information is that a lot of local towns and city officials don't necessarily understand the steps to follow when searching for possible unmarked graves that have to do with institutional cemeteries. In order to help that, some of the options that the commission has put forward is that we as a group could create some educational materials to make available to town and city officials so that they can look at those and
Yeah.
know the correct process to work through.
Mm.
Or that we as a commission could simply make the recommendation that educational materials need to be made, and that can be included in the final report. So we have two options of either making the materials ourselves or just including that in our recommendations for later.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Does anyone have any questions about that?
Okay. Oh, yep.
Sister Linda, I see your hand.
Yes, well, being a former teacher and a teacher of younger children, I know the value of creating educational materials that are understood and very clear and succinct. So I would recommend if people from this special commission and maybe have consultants assist with that, but to actually design the educational materials. I think that would be a valuable resource for each town and city and where these are located. I think that would be, and it would be good for our special commission, if it is at all possible, to design those educational materials and perhaps have other consults look at them or review them to make sure that they are clear and succinct and respectful, etc. Yeah, but a valuable resource. Definitely, I affirm that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sister Linda.
Welcome.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments on this update?
I think when they do get, this is Reggie.
Hi, Reggie.
When they do get fixed, Kate, I think they should be put in a special file cabinet with a lock on it, and nobody can get access to it except the person that it's supposed to go to.
You mean once the records of
Yes,
the cemeteries and all of those?
Yeah. yes. the person should be able to have their own file cabinet. Because some things you have to hide because people get a hold of these things and they spread these things around, and we got to be extremely careful about of stuff that's been tossed around, information and stuff.
That's a very important suggestion, Reggie. Thank you for that. There's a question in the chat that reads, perhaps a database can be created per institution to who is buried in these cemeteries. Emily can likely answer this a little bit more in depth than I can.
Thanks, Kate. That is one possibility. The information about who is buried in these cemeteries is good in some cases and missing in others. And so part of the work we are doing to support this work group is to understand who is buried in there and where we may not know the identity of who is buried in a space that might be have a marker or a number, and we may not know their name. So there has been work done by other interested parties to identify those either partially marked or unmarked graves that we might be able to benefit from. And so it could be a recommendation of the commission to put together a database, or what sometimes called a repository, where all that information that is known is put in one place for the public to access. And specifically, that would be just the names of who is buried in certain locations in known graves.
Are there any other questions?
Thank you. It's Matt. I think Vesper has his hands raised. Sorry.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't see the hand raise in the chat. Vesper.
Yes, I was just kind of going back to the database point. There are examples of this that exist for Indian boarding schools. One example is the Carlisle Industrial School in Pennsylvania has kind of like a memoriam website that actually has, you know, some of the individuals who are in that school listed. So, and sometimes that can be coupled with things that were part of their belongings, or just remembering that person. I wonder if we look at something like this over time, if we would want to look at those resources as examples, because it's I see a lot of parallels, and it's a very, very similar circumstance.
I think those are wonderful resources, Vesper, and everyone should be taking a look at those. They're beautiful and they're incredible. Are there any other questions? Okay, thank you, Matt.
Hi, this is Matt. Thank you, Kate. Appreciate that. Ms. Kelly, you'd like to get an update of the framework for framework for remembrance work groups.
Yes. Hi, everybody. So this is Rania Kelly. So far, what we've done is we've learned about the work of Friends of, I'm sorry, my voice is like, I'm losing it. Belchertown State School Association to create a disability history museum. For the next steps, we have a interview scheduled for the Tewksbury State Hospital Museum that we're going to learn about in June. And everyone on this call is invited to the presentation by Willowbrook Mile Steering Committee on June 7th. I don't know if that's virtual or in person, so can someone clarify? And I believe the material was emailed to all of you earlier to review. and how they memorialize. Oh, Emily, yeah, go ahead.
The meeting is virtual, Rania.
Okay, thank you. Did I miss anything else that you wanted to add?
Hi, this is Jen Fugelstad from Cedar. Just to let folks know, the meeting on the 7th, it's at 3 p.m. It's with Diane Bagoli, who actually was a former employee of Willowbrook State School and has since been very active in the Staten Island community and providing community-based residential support to people with disabilities, and has led the steering committee to develop the Willowbrook Mile Memorial on the grounds of the former institution. So everybody is invited to attend. She's going to talk about what their committee went through, the work that they did over probably 10 to 15 years to establish their memorial.
Great, thank you. I actually have to leave, so I'm going to be leaving the meeting now. Hopefully we still have quorum. I could stay on my phone if you need me to. Maybe I'll do that because I have to drive to an appointment.
Ron, you only have to start a meeting with quorum.
Oh, okay, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Okay,
Yep.
great.
I hope your voice gets better, Rhonda.
Thank you. You're so kind.
Thank you, Ryder. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. I think in our final minutes, we want to remind everyone that we have scheduled the next few commission meetings for Thursday, July 18th at 3 p.m.
July 18th.
We will be setting the schedule for the remaining of the year in the next few weeks. So be on the lookout for invites to the fall meetings. Does
I would
that
su-
work?
Yes, I would
Does it-
suggest. This is Reggie. I would suggest to send the stuff to Jan so Jan can call me and let me know, because that would be good, because we can both talk over the phone. Or either send it to Mary,
Okay. Does that work for everyone?
Yes.
If members have any questions before then, you should feel free to contact us.
Thank you, Emily. This is Matt. We'll let you. Yeah, Reggie, someone would definitely call you, email you, get in contact with you about the future meetings.
Well, I was suggesting, Matt, to have Jan, because Jan sometimes calls me from Cedar, and so we talk, so I was just making a suggestion.
Yeah, no, definitely. Someone would definitely get in contact with you.
Okay.
So no other items, you have a Sister Linda, you want to say something?
Yes, please, thank you. My question is, could we have a list of the different work groups and who are the leaders of those groups, and then how to respond, or the contact information to respond to them if we wanted to join?
Yeah, so this is Matt. So, sorry, Emily, you want?
Welcome to take it, Matt, unless you'd like me to just. let me know.
I'll start. If you have any more questions, you can finish, Emily. So if you need to respond to any of the work groups, just email the CETA the support group website, the SCSI support@UMass.edu, and we'll get back to you if we have a specific question.
Okay.
And the work groups are like fluid. They're like usually Kate, Mary take the lead, but if they're not available, someone else takes the lead. So we had no real, leader in the groups. If that is
Oh.
correct, Emily.
Okay.
Is that is your question, Sister Linda?
Yeah, thank you. No, I was just curious, right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's your question, though. Yes, ever had questions about the work groups at all, definitely email the CEO, our support group email, and we'll get back to you quickly. They get back to you very quickly. I know this by personal experience, so. Anything else like you discuss? If not, we'd like to take a motion, to vote to adjourn. You have a motion to?
I'm making a motion, please.
Thank
I'll
you,
s-
Reggie.
I'll
Reggie.
second the motion. This is Mary.
Thank you, Mary, for seconding the motion. We'll do a roll call vote now to join the meeting.
Alicia. Elise.
Alicia's not here at this meeting, so.
Eight.
I move to adjourn as well. Sorry, yes.
Sister Linda.
Yes. Whoops. Yes, I vote to adjourn. Yes.
Reggie.
Yes.
Anne.
Yes.
Miss Kelly. She left.
Charity.
Andrew.
Yes.
Mary.
Yes.
Vesper.
Yes.
Brenda. Connor.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
And myself, yes. Thank you, everyone. The meeting is adjourned.
Have a nice afternoon, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you.
Everyone.
You as well.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Hold that forward, free webinar button to activate, press space bar.
Hey Siri, what time is it?